A developer from Larian Studios provides insight on whether fans of the game should hope for Baldur's Gate 3 DLC sometime in the future. A big expansion pack for Baldur's Gate 3 isn't currently in active production, according to developer Larian Studios, but it's not impossible that it might still happen sometime down the line. A recent interview with the founder of Larian Studios, Sven Vink, revealed much on how the dev feels about the game's release and its success, and why moving on from its current balance would be a heck of feat. The sheer popularity of Baldur's Gate 3 cannot be overstated, with the game beating record after record following its launch from Steam's Early Access program. Baldur's Gate 3 is doing so well, in fact, that it's already managed to compete with the monumental release of Hogwarts Legacy from earlier in 2023, signifying the success of Larian Studios' seminal CRPG. One of the things that Dungeons & Dragons players jumping into Baldur's Gate 3 will have already noticed, however, is that Larian Studios has opted for a relatively low character level cap in the game. The max is 12, compared to D&D's max baseline of 20, and this was brought up in PC Gamer's recent interview with Sven Vink. According to Vink, it would be very hard for Larian to balance D&D's level 20 spells, like Foresight and Wish, in the context of Baldur's Gate 3, and doing so would make DLC much more than an expansion in terms of development effort. Vink thus admitted that Larian Studios is not working on a DLC of any sort at this time, and even though he didn't outright deny the possibility of it happening, he said that fans would need to wait for a long time for anything on that front. As Baldur's Gate 3 is a huge RPG adventure, it's not like players will be running out of things to do in the game, so it's hardly a wash. It's worth pointing out that some classic D&D classes are missing from Baldur's Gate 3, and introducing them into the base game post-launch may be less of a hassle for Larian Studios than reaching character level 20 would be. It's still a huge amount of effort, however, and the job may be better suited for the game's modding community sometime down the line. Baldur's Gate 3 still has some issues, such as the game's reliance on an external launcher on top of Steam, for example. Larian's decision to implement this feature is curious and forces players to wait a bit longer before jumping into the game after opening it up on Steam, making some wonder why the developer would follow such a strange industry trend. Baldur's Gate 3 is out now on PC, with a PS5 version releasing on September 6.